Thank you very much for joining us today, Dion Calamer, all the way from New York. Now we move on to our next story. Looking at Kenya, thousands of Kenyans took to the streets to mark 1 year since deadly anti-tax protests shook the nation. Police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse crowds in Nairobi and other towns. At least 10 people suffered gunshot injuries, according to hospital sources. The government shut down live broadcasts from major TV stations, prompting outrage from media houses and rights groups. Protesters chanted "Ruto Must Go" as they pushed towards Parliament, defying barricades and a heavy police presence. Police struggled to control the crowds, with some officers forced to retreat. Here's what a protester had to say.
We are here as the young generation we want a complete overhaul of the system. The system is rotten, the system is wrong, and we want a complete overhaul. We shall speak, we will not be afraid, and we will turn up when it is needed.
The demonstrations also honored blogger Albert Ojwang, who died in police custody earlier this month. Protesters demand justice, police accountability, and President Ruto's resignation. The atmosphere remains tense, with reports of more clashes in Mombasa and other towns. Kenyan President Ruto urged Kenyans to remain peaceful, warned against violence and destruction, and said security forces are under strict orders to protect lives properly and uphold law and order. Here's what the Kenyan president has said.
And therefore, to every police officer, from the constable, the man on the beat, I give you my assurance that the government of Kenya will support you, will stand by you as you secure our nation and as you secure our country and keep our families safe and our properties safe.
Now we have guests joining us for this discussion, Muhammad Nuruddin. He's an African journalist joining us live from Ghana. Mahmoud, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. What more can you tell us about the situation in Kenya? And is there, since maybe there is media coverage still, or maybe there is not, can you tell us more about it?
Exactly a year ago, the Kenyan citizens, were angry that a bill was proposed in Parliament. And so the day the bill was proposed and passed in Parliament, the angry youth stormed the Parliament to register their displeasure about that bill. They were saying that life has not been better, and therefore if that bill is passed, then life will be much difficult to live in Kenya. So during that period of protest, there was a clash between the citizens and the Kenyan police, and over 60 people were killed and some were injured, sent to the hospital. So today is exactly 1 year that displeasure again, to tell the government that things have not changed. We are still experiencing the hardship in the country, and they want a better life. And so if you monitor the situation, you realize that some of them were chanting "Ruto Must Go," and they want the government to do something better. And so that was exactly what these people went to the street of Nairobi and some part of Mombasa to register their displeasure, where we had about 11 people who have been injured and they have been hospitalized at the Kenyatta National Hospital in Kenya. So in the course of this event, live broadcast of the situation was stopped, and journalists were unhappy about it. And so it means that they will not be able to get all the actions and be able to report what happened, especially just like what happened last year. They were not able to do that. And so live broadcast of the event was stopped by the security. And so journalists were not happy about it. And they think that this is not the right thing to do, because as a journalist, they were supposed to report the event so that people across the world would get to understand what is happening at that particular moment. And so they were stopped, and they didn't have the opportunity to telecast live some part of the event during the protest. And so as we speak now, Kenyans are angry with the government. They think that much needs to be done to change their lives so that they would be able to live a better life. And so these are young people, very young people, some 24 years, 25 years, and they are not happy. They think that things haven't been better. They say they brought William Ruto to government to help change their situation, their living standard.
Mahmoud, can you tell us what triggered this anniversary protest? Was it purely symbolic, or is it because the situation did not change much in Kenya, or is it because the situation is maybe worse than a year ago? What's your assessment?
Well, you know, a few days ago, even this month, a blogger was died in his police custody, and then a few days ago, after that, one was also shot by a military. You saw the video on social media where the security personnel followed him, shot him, I mean, in public. And so these are things that happened close to the event that happened last year. You know, the event that happened last year was in June. So a few days to that year, to that the anniversary, they thought that it is good to go back and register our displeasure because things are not changing. We thought what we did last year could have changed things. But even in the month that the incident happened last year, I mean, we are experiencing a lot more hardship. So let's go back and register our displeasure and to commemorate the event or the anniversary of what happened last year. So you could see people holding roses, some of them, I mean, pictures of those who died last year, just to show that they are not happy about the situation. They are not happy about the events that are happening because they could see that people are still dying in the hands of the police or in the hands of the security. And so these are some of the things that they look at them and say, let's go back and let the government know that things are not better as they see it, as the government see it, but they are seeing something different. So they need to prompt the government to be able to do things that would change their life and to be able to ensure that nobody is being killed again.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin, for joining us today. Apologies